Good morning. We're on day number 68. This is Kamera again. We're covering Deuteronomy 30 and 31, just two chapters. Yesterday we read where the blessings and curses, blessings for the children of Israel if they walk in God's way, curses if they go their own way, the consequences. And so Moses is telling them today this is pretty much his final address, like it's ending at this point. He's telling them that if you turn from your wicked ways, repent of your wicked ways, stop doing those things, and you follow God with your whole heart, then all those promises that God originally promised you, all those blessings God promised you originally, if you follow his ways, all those will be restored to you. Restoration. Everything you do will be prosperous. That is what Moses is telling them. He says, these commands that God give you guys are not unattainable. They're easy to follow. They're not so far where you can't reach them. They're not. They are attainable. They're not across the sea. They're not in heaven where you can't reach them. They are attainable. And guys, we got to understand, God give us self-will. And if we choose to follow God and we want to please God, we're going to do everything we can to please God. And that includes talking to him and asking him to help when things are difficult. The things we want to say, we don't say because it's going to offend someone. The things we want to do. And when we offend others, we offend God. So I noticed that when we do ask God to help us with those things that are not pleasing to God, to help us to overcome those things, he does help us. He'll tickle our conscience and let us know that wasn't cool what you said or did. So the next time he'll let you know, don't do it or don't say it. It's going to hurt someone's feelings or it's going to be sinful. And that's a no-no. And we have to use our effort, our faith, our strength, our mind, our spirit to reject those things that are not of God. And as we do that, it becomes easier. It really does. But if we continue to give in to the urge to do things that are not pleasing to God, that becomes easier and it's harder to do right. So, but if we change our heart and our mind, and we need help, it's not easy for us to do it on our own. But we thank God who will help us. He said anything we ask according to his will, he'll do it. And so he was telling them if they change and start following God wholeheartedly, then yes, all those promises, all those blessings I promised you that you'll get, they will be restored. And everything you do will be successful. So he tells us we can choose between life and death. It's all up to us. If we choose God, we have life. And I'm not just talking about our carnal bodies. I'm talking about our spiritual life. Our spiritual life can be a life or it can be death. You choose God, you have more joy, you have more peace, you have more contentment. You choose doing things your own way. You're never satisfied. You're always complaining. You find fault with everyone. And you're just not happy, discontent on the simplest things. And so, and your spirit is just not at peace. So, you can experience spiritual death as well. So, that's up to you. You can choose. God don't force us to do anything. It's up to us. And God can help us in all those areas. So he said, so once Moses finishes, he tells them, I'm 120 years. I'm not years old. I'm not crossing with you guys. Joshua is the one who's going to lead you guys. But get this, God is going to go ahead of you or what have you. And so he calls Joshua and he tells Joshua he calls Joshua. God tell Moses to call Joshua, go to the tabernacle in the presence of the people of Israel. And I commissioned him to his new duties, his new position. And he goes over and Moses tell Joshua what his new responsibilities are. He tells him that he's going to be the one that lead the children of Israel into over the Jordan, into the promised land, into battles. And he's going to be the one that distributes the land, divides the land. So he's going to be in charge of all of that. But he tells Joshua, God is going to go ahead of you. Don't let this overwhelm you. Don't be fearful. Be strong and courageous. God is with you. Everything is going to work out. So I do love the fact that he does that. And so all the commandments that Moses had instructed the children of Israel was written in a book. So he wrote those in the book. And then he takes that book and he calls the priests over, the ones who carry the ark, and he told them to put that book inside the Ark of Covenant. Yeah. And so God calls Moses, and again, he tells him, he says, yeah, you're going to be dying. I want you to write a song, though. And he says, this song, if the song is going to remind the children of Israel what I've done for them, so that when they change their hearts and go against, what I told them to do, then they're going to, they're going to be teaching them that song, because that's going to remind them of the errors of their ways. And so they'll always know that you are wrong. This is what happened. It's going to remind them of what God had done. So Moses is supposed to write that song, and he is supposed to teach it to the children of Israel. And so, so he places that. And the book, the book is supposed to be read at the end of every 7th year. Yeah, go through the book. Everyone needs to gather and listen to the reading of that book. And so Moses, again, he calls the priests, the elders. He called the elders, and he let them know what is about to happen. He told them what God had said about the children of Israel are going to eventually, they're going to, after Moses dies, the children of Israel are going to start serving the foreign gods of the land where they're going to. They're going to turn away from God's ways. They're going to abandon God. They're going to worship those foreign gods. They're going to break the covenant. They're going to do all that stuff. But this song that Moses told them to learn is the one that's going to supposed to remind them of the promises of God. That's what that song is supposed to do after they turn. But they're going to turn from their ways. And so this is the thing, though. God says, I know their intentions. I already know right now, before you die, Moses, what their intentions are. It's a stubborn and rebellious people. They're going to do exactly what you told them not to do. So let this be a lesson to us, guys. I thank God for our leaders. I really do. But there's nothing like getting to know God for yourself. Because when that leader leaves, we can act all holy in front of the leaders. We can act all holy in front of the people who supposedly serve God and live for God. But when we are away from those people, or those people are no longer in our lives, are we going to be able to stand? Are we going to still worship God? Are we going to know God? So it is best that you get to know God for yourself, period. And the only way you're going to know God is to read his word, is to practice what he says, and to depend on him and trust him. Depend on him to teach you. Trust him to teach you. I'm telling you, because when everything is said and done, those leaders, they can disappoint you. Leaders of every level. People will disappoint you. How are you going to make it if you use them as your rock? Your rock should be the word. Your rock should be God. So, as soon as Moses, after Moses dies, it even goes down further. Remember, Moses used to be the one that interceded for them whenever they did crazy stuff. And so it's like Moses was their leader. So when Moses goes, they got to depend on what they know now. They got to depend on what they learned now. You got to depend on what you learned about God. While you're learning, you didn't try God. You didn't see if he was real. While you were learning, you were still out there doing your own thing and just, I go to church on Sundays. I read my word every now and then. I believe that God, no. You got to practice. You got to learn, because when things happen, you got to be able to trust God through it all. He is faithful. He can give you the joy, the peace, the love, everything you need. Help you stand, hold your head up high, and be confident knowing that everything is okay. How are you going to know that if you don't practice it now and get to know him for yourself? After Moses left, though, God already knew their intentions. He already knew their heart. He knows your intentions. He knows your heart. And that's the one person you really, really, really want to see a good in you. You want God to see good in you more than you want your neighbors to see good in you, because that's where it counts. That's where it counts right there. So, guys, that was day number 68, Deuteronomy 30 and 31. Okay? You guys have a God-filled blessed day.